What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Once again, we're here live, and we're going to be talking about Clayface, the new trailer, some of the DCU content, just the DCU in general, because man, this year, I'm telling you, I've been telling people for a while, DC should be where Marvel is. They should be. Just, things happen. But before we get into everything, which is DC, Invincible, all of everything involved nerdy, I have a special guest, which is he is a guest that has been here all the time, none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Haynes. Yeah, hey, buddy, what you doing over there?
I was petting my cat. My cat's she plopped and showed me her belly, so I had it better. Thank you for having me, Robbie.
Fair enough. When the cat shows the belly, that's like a dog stretching. You got to say big stretchy, and you got to pet him. So
I got a pet.
Understandable. So welcome, my friend. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, and I'm super excited to get into our discussion today. Thank you, as always, for having me. This is great. I always have a great time. Love having discussions with you. I'm ready to hop right into it.
Yeah, man, that's the goal here, guys. We are both excited about a lot of things here. Like Clayface came out, and as James Gunn said, it's going to be a horror film. Like it literally a DC horror film, which especially for this character, I feel like, and maybe Alex will agree, maybe you all will agree as well. You can comment down below. Excuse me. A lot of DC characters we could make horror movies off of. Just in general, Gotham. Let's just Gotham. Gotham villains, even Batman. So at certain points, you can make a horror film or horror franchise in essence off of several DC heroes and villains. And the fact that this is the first time that DC is doing it is crazy, but it's also quite amazing that we are getting like a horror movie within DC Comics. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I'm really excited that they're going this direction because, like, growing up, I always had the philosophy that horror movie villains are just super villains that don't have a superhero to counter them. So I feel like, Clayface being a horror film, I'm really excited about that. And I feel like it's a direction that Sony Pictures should have went with their villains. Like instead of making them all anti-heroes, just double down on the villainous thing. I feel like Clayface it definitely should be a horror film. I'm not really excited for the body horror aspect because that's the type of movie I'm always actively trying to avoid because I'm easily, it was like I can watch stuff like Invincible and The Boys and it gets bloody and violent, but it's just like the slow, like very like look at this horrifying thing happening to someone's body
and shredding skin apart.
Yeah, that's when I'm like, nope, gotta look away. But this is a DC property. I gotta check it out. Maybe Batman makes an appearance. I don't know. But I'm super excited for it. I think it is the right decision. I'm going to be disgusted watching it.
Probably.
But I have a feeling I'm going to like it.
Yeah, man, I'm with you on that. I'm not the biggest fan of body horror, but there is an element to it that is not intriguing. That sounds psychotic as hell. But I mean, a lot of people are into that. A lot of people are into horror movies in general. But I think with this particular character, it works. It is a great person and character and villain to like bring into the DC world in live action, first of all, but also just in general. We have a comment here from Anthony Fellows popping in on my drive home from Michael. Man, I wish I was seeing that too. Can't wait for Clayface. I was hyped once Mike Flanagan was announced to be attached. Yeah, especially Mike Flanagan. Like, come on, bro, you can't go wrong with that. And I love body horror. See what I mean? There's people who love body horror.
The body horror fans will definitely go see this.
it's a genre for a reason, right? And I mean, there's some body horror films that I can get behind. Like, trust me, there are. But overall, I would not say that body horror is typically my thing. But DC Comics is my thing. Horror is now my thing after years of not really liking horror. So for them to blend the two together, as you said, you feel like a lot of a lot of horror movie villains are just like super villains that don't have like a superhero to counterpart them or combat them. And that's actually a really good take because Batman, we consider him a superhero, but in the clear-cut, cookie-cutter definition of a super hero, you would need to have super powers. So I think that that actually does work, especially here with Batman not having powers. But a lot of people think, maybe he has some sort of serum. Maybe he's, there's so many different philosophies and theories that we won't get into right now. But what I do want to get into is the idea behind Clayface. So we have the gentleman Tom Reese Harris, who is playing Clayface, and this particular Clayface he's paying. Excuse me, this particular Clayface that he's playing is the Matt Hagen Clayface, where there's Basil Carlo as well, who was the criminal before him. But this one we're introduced to is Matt Hagen, which in the comics, Matt Hagen, he is a scuba diver who has a career of just digging for sunken treasure and scuba diving down there and trying to find treasure, basically. And his accident, he finds like a pool of protoplasm in a cave when scuba diving, and he gets caught within that, and he has to return every now and then to that pool so that he can reassess himself and regain access to the powers and all that. It's a whole thing. So in this live action movie, they are going in a different direction. Matt Hagen is an aspiring actor. He's a rising actor, and he has an accident and leaves him deformed, and he wants to have this, or gets introduced to a procedure or something that can possibly help. And clearly, as we see from the third frame, bottom left, it does not go well at all, my friend. And before we continue, got a question here from Anthony. How do we feel about there being two different Clayfaces in the new DCU, Creature Commandos, and now this? That's funny that you say that, because we are just talking about two different Clayfaces, and I am very curious, especially within James Gunn's DCU, and I'm sure, Alex, when I pan to you, I'm curious to hear what you think and say, but I'm curious as to how they connect all of it, because obviously with this DCU, a lot of things are going to be connected. And James Gunn already said that there's going to be things that tie in, and there's been things that already kind of tie in. So what are your thoughts about this being two different Clay faces already in the new DCU?
I think it would be an interesting direction. I also heard that there's two different ones, but I also heard that this Clayface is the one that we meet in Creature Commandos. So like one of the things I heard was that this is technically the first movie in the DCU chronologically.
Yeah, it predates Superman. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like they're doing a combination of Carlo and Hagen, like in terms of their origins, especially like, aspiring actor, but now he's becomes the big globby Clayface that can shapeshift. But like I'm honestly just like, until James Gunn comes out and is like, this is what's happening. It's hard for me exactly to say. If they do two different Clayfaces, I think that'll be interesting. It'll be cool how they interact with each other. Maybe one got their powers from the other, or I don't know. I feel like the more the merrier. I'm always happy with more. So we'll see. What do you think?
I'm kind of in a similar boat with that. Sometimes the more the merrier can be good, and sometimes it can be very, very bad, as the CW series, various CW series. Wow, couldn't talk there for a second. Has shown us too much of something is definitely not great, and too much of the same thing is also not great. So in this instance, I mean, I am with you at the whole, like, unless James Gunn says something, I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow, roll with the punches. But if this is supposed to be the same Clayface, and it's like it predates Superman, which it is before Superman, then that would be pretty cool how they bring him into live action. But if it is two different Clayfaces, I wonder, as you said, how they would meet up, what would happen. Would they technically merge into one because of the powers and everything that goes on with his powers? Or would one of them overtake the other, especially because this one is more of a horror aspect, even though Creature Commandos was rated R and very, very into it. I wonder if that would be a case. So it's a very interesting question, and a very good question. Thank you, Anthony, for that.
I mean, the Clayface from the Creature Commandos series was horrifying. It was very much like a serial killer, and he was about to murder Rick Flag Sr. and
Yep.
uh,
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, you know. So I mean, it could potentially be the same guy, because just based on this trailer, I feel like this guy's gonna lose his mind and just take it out on everybody. Especially towards the end of the trailer, where we see his silhouette of him getting that big spiked club of an arm, is like at least a shadow of it. So I'm like,
Yeah, bro.
he's gonna respond poorly to his condition. So I could see this being like, oh, how did you get here?
Yeah, agreed. I agree with you on that, and I do respect that, because I think that this again will be a good thing for DC Comics fans. And we got another question: how do y'all feel about the Batman universe doing its thing? So the Matt Reeves Batman universe doing its thing, while this will be more tied to Gunn's newer Batman. Think it'll confuse fans? Now, this is actually a really good question, and Alex, I'll let you lead this one off, and then I'll follow. So what do you think? How do you feel about the Batman universe, which is technically Elseworlds, I believe? How do you feel about that doing its thing, while we have this one, which is tied to James Gunn's Batman, which we still haven't gotten yet? We don't know who it is. We haven't seen anything about it, him, whatever. And do you think it'll confuse fans?
I think for the average fan, there will be confusion, but I do respect the vision behind it, because I feel like James Gunn is following what it's like to read comic books. Because like there's multiple different versions, different realities within just DC Comics alone. So like for people that want a more grounded, realistic Batman, they go to the Batman universe with Robert Pattinson. They go to that Elseworld. But if you want a Batman that you see taking on super criminals and teaming up with like the Justice League and all that, then you'll watch the mainline DCU. So it will be confusing, but I feel like it's the DCU, how it's setting up. It's trying to serve everybody in, like, make it accessible for anybody. So like that's why I feel like this Clayface movie is such a great idea. It was like, oh, well, how do we get more people into superheroes? Well, let's start with the horror fans. We got something for people that like horror. Watch this movie. We got something for people that like more dramatic things. We got this film over here, or this TV series, So I feel like this is their way of expanding the comic book universe, the DCU, in a way where anyone could enjoy it. So I feel like it can be confusing if people are expecting like the MCU, like, oh, everything is connected, whereas in DCU, not necessarily the case. It's all in the same universe, but it's just like a comic book. It's just something that, oh, you pick something up, this looks interesting, and you can go with that.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's a good point. Anthony says that's a good point, Alex. Comics really do be whipping fans around tonally. 1,000%. 1,000%. Now, I'll answer this question. How do I feel about the Batman universe doing its thing? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with Matt Reeves having his own Batman universe, the Elseworlds universe, because that's how it is in the comics. Just like with Marvel, there's their own universes with several things. I think that that's cool. I with the point of it being tied with James Gunn's James Gunn's Batman. I think that yes, it will confuse some fans 100%, because there's always going to be confusion. As Alex said very, very eloquently, that comics tend to have a shift, and I do think that if you want to watch like the more nitty gritty, to the ground, fist in your face Batman, which technically is all of them, but like year one, year two Batman, which technically was the Batman with Robert Pattinson, was year one. I think that you'll be more honed in on that. And with James Gunn's universe, with the way how he's developing things, I think it will be a little bit confusing at first. But once a little bit more is out And I had this conversation with my buddy earlier that we were filming our episode to our new series. I think that having, excuse me, I think that having this universe and building this, not like necessarily Marvel did, but kind of emulating that formula of the 10-year buildup. It's not in James Gunn's plans. I don't foresee him doing 10 years worth of buildup with these characters, but I do foresee him doing a buildup, which is in essence what we are getting. And if he keeps going in this direction, I think DC will be right on track. Like they will be literally right where they need to be, where they should have been all along. And I think if that is the case, then fans might be confused, but it'll be more fans that are hopping in just now, like just people just getting into the DC world or the world of comic books and superheroes. Like my girlfriend who she likes superheroes and stuff. She's like that, but she hasn't been into it the way that I am until she got with me, and now she's way more into it. So if so a person like that who likes the stuff but isn't really like that into it, yeah, they would be confused. But for fans like us and other people who have wanted to see stuff happen and develop, I think at first we might be like, well, how did that? If that's him, then what's going on here? All right, let's wait and see, and bam, and then we'll get the explanation. You know. So I think that that's a two-part answer, yes and no, that people will get confused. But I know this is going to sound weird. It might be a little bit of a hot take, but I kind of want people to be a little bit confused, because when you are confused, you're more inquisitive, you're more curious, you're more like, well, yeah. I don't want to be confused, but why? But this is interesting, but why though? Like, let me go back and let me read or let me watch, and that'll bring more people in. I personally feel like. Got one more comment from Anthony. As someone who's super late to Peacemaker, currently on season 2 now, with keeping Peacemaker in the timeline, do y'all think we'll ever see Shazam from the movies again, given his post credit scene? Oof. Oh man, that's a good question. Go ahead, Alex.
Personally, like I liked the Shazam movies.
Me too.
The first one was a lot of fun. It was like one of the few movies in that universe where I was just like, yeah, I would watch more. And then the sequel was also just, I thought the first one was better, but still fun. Like Lucy Liu was in it, and it reminded me that I was in love with that woman when I was a kid. So it was just like, oh, still beautiful. Lucy Liu. But I feel like Shazam should come back in the DCU. I would like to see him. I don't think they will, because I heard the actor has been doing shenanigans, I guess. Yeah, so politically, yeah. Everyone's just like, no, let's keep away from him. But I think the character would fit very well within what James Gunn has doing. It'll be a different type of tone of movie that I feel like would be very fun. That can be the magical side of the DCU.
I agree. I think would they bring specifically Zachary Levi in as Shazam? Probably not, only because of everything surrounding him and his views, which we've seen, with Melissa Barrera and Scream. It's a tough thing when you speak up and just say how you feel about certain things. But I would love to see Shazam. I would love to see him in James Gunn's universe, because I know it would be great. I know it would, with the way how James Gunn writes, with the pieces in play, especially with Blue Beetle, and he wants to incorporate Blue Beetle, and especially with Peacemaker and the whole thing with Blue Beetle and Peacemaker in the comics. That would just be a gold mine that they would be kind of silly not to expand on and to truly dive into. So, do I think we'll see Shazam? Sure. At some point. Anytime soon? Regrettably, I'll say no, just because I feel like James Gunn's going in a different direction, which is perfectly fine. I'm here for it. Bring it on. Bring the stuff. Let's go, But I think that the direction that James Gunn's going in, we did Superman, now we're doing Supergirl, and then we have Clayface. So we're going in, we're like, whoa, we got the happy-go-lucky positive. We've got the trauma and sadness and anger, with Supergirl, and now we get the horror. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, everybody.
Oh.
we've got we've
You
got
better
the
chill
horror.
out with that.
Yeah, seriously. We got the horror, the body horror, all the shebangs with Clayface and Gotham. So we got like kind of three different tones going on here. So I feel like within the next, and then we have Lanterns coming up as well, which is another different tone. And then they had
Mhm.
Peacemaker, which is a different tone entirely with the anti-hero stuff. So I feel like we will get a form of Shazam or a nod to him, just probably closer to whenever James Gunn decides to do a Justice League type movie or leading to a Justice League movie. I feel like it'll be something like a cameo in another movie. Does that make sense? Like I feel like Shazam in James Gunn's universe will be a cameo in another movie leading to something else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I had a quick question about Captain Marvel or Shazam, whatever they decide to call him. When he says Shazam and he turns into, you know, the buff adult, is that supposed to be like an adult version of himself? Or because like Zachary Levi doesn't look a lot like the kid, like an older version of the kid. So it's like, does he just become just a generic adult? I don't know. I feel like it is something like that's his adult self, but
that's what it's supposed to be, right? Like, you know, in animated stuff we've seen, like when he becomes Shazam, it's like he's just an older guy. And it doesn't even in the cartoons and stuff, it doesn't really look like it would be an older Billy. But I think what it's supposed to be is also it's just like this person in their prime, I guess, or like their ultimate self, or like how maybe they view themselves or whatever. But that's a really good question to look into and kind of jokingly like plug into things, because like a deep dive into whether it is truly the older Billy Batson or just some random Joe Schmo guy. Like, who knows?
Just like this is what the power makes you look like.
Yeah,
because I think it would be great if you have that kid from Shazam and go Shazam, and all of a sudden he looks like Michael B. Jordan. I think that would be hilarious.
I don't know if that would really work with people nowadays. That might not be a good idea to go.
Just have Michael B. Jordan be all the transformations of the Shazam family. Honestly, every single one.
And he would kill it. He would do every person differently, and we all know it.
he's an Oscar-winning actor. So
yeah, he is.
Give him whatever he wants.
Yeah, dude. That would be that'd be pretty cool to see. Now that I'm curious. So to further talk about Clayface or anything else DC related, I think with what James Gunn's doing, I'm not too sure. First of all, let me rewind real quick and then preface it with this. I'm not exactly sure where James Gunn's going. I know where I would like him to go, but I don't want to say that out loud because I don't want to get that in other fans' heads, just like what happens with us, with other people we watch. We're like, oh, snap, that's right. Oh, my God, why don't they do that? Why don't they bring in the Authority, too, and have Superman be like, what the hell are you guys doing? Why don't they do that? No, I don't want to do that because there's already things I'm thinking about. But if I say it out loud, then that means that like there's a possibility that it could come to fruition and then it won't come to fruition. And then I'll be, you don't understand what I mean? Like, I just don't want to disappoint myself. So I kind of think I know what direction they're going, but I also have zero idea where they're going. And I love that because I don't know what's next. I fully expected like maybe, let's say a Batman or just like a something, maybe something to do with the Justice League or maybe a new Wonder Woman or something, and then incorporate that man or something like that. But we went straight up to Clayface. So what of all villains and all characters and all people, we went to Clayface. I have no idea why. And I love it. And I can't wait to see what unfolds, because what if we get that's my question to you is, do you think in this Clayface movie, we will either A, see Batman, B, see the Batmobile or Bat Signal. Yes, I'm being very oddly specific about those. The Batmobile or Bat Symbol. Or C, we don't really see him at all or anything like that in the movie, but the after credit scene, we fully see a full-fledged Batman.
You know, I was actually thinking about this the other night of like, I'm imagining how the Clayface movie ends. Because I'm predicting if there's anything Batman, I feel like the DCU is holding off on Batman on purpose. Like, hey,
Good.
we've done so many Batman movies, and we're gonna hold them off until you people are screaming at us to give you Batman. Yeah, just to tease it more. So I feel like they're gonna do a similar thing as they did in Creature Commandos, where you just see his silhouette, and then it's just that's it. All of a sudden, the dude's in prison. And I feel like it's going to be a similar thing. I'm picturing Clayface is just going crazy, and he's going after whoever the final girl is, because there's always a final girl in horror movies.
Yep.
And just right before he's about to unalive her, the lights cut out. And then you just hear something getting thrown at Clayface, and now he can't morph anymore. And then you just hear a bunch of things, like a bunch of impacts, and then Clayface is down. And it's just boom. That's the end of the movie. It was just like, that was Batman.
Yeah. I would venture to say that knowing James Gunn, we'd see that. And then we'd see like the back, like the back of him. Not even like fully in color or anything. Like you said, a silhouette, but just like the cape floating or whatever. Or maybe him getting up and you just see like him move like that, like get up. And it's like he starts to turn his head, fade to black. Like that, honestly,
That would be tight.
Oh my God! See, this is what I'm talking about, bro. I don't.
Now we're expecting it. If it doesn't happen in the Clayface movie, we're gonna be mad. So this is just the hope of ours.
It's a hope. Yeah, no, I don't expect this, but like,
not expecting it.
I would really love it though. That would be so sick because the whole theater, anywhere you are, no matter who you are, you're gonna be like, "That's Batman. That's Batman. It's not.
That's Batman."
You're not gonna convince me otherwise. And I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know if James Gunn is gonna do this whole thing with the dynamic duo, and because in the original stuff with Clayface in the comics, he gets caught by the dynamic duo several times. Which I mean, he escapes prison several times. Doy. I mean, it's Clayface. He can turn his body into goop and just escape. So I mean, yeah, but I'm curious to see if they do anything like that, and if they do, when they would. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. I think that like I said before, it's going to be a great installment in the DC franchise. And before we move on to anything else, hi, buddy. Sorry, he just woke up from a long nap. Before we move on to a few other things, is there anything else that you want to say or have to say or ask about Clayface? Like anything, questions for the audience themselves or anything like that?
Yeah, I was going to ask, like you and, of course, to the audience, what other Batman villain would you want to see a horror movie about? And preferably a Batman villain we haven't seen on screen yet. I was going to say I think the Mad Hatter would be a great horror movie villain.
100%. Wow. Ooh.
And that would tap into that very niche fandom of like Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say Batman. I'm going to say Hush. Batman. And Ra's al Ghul, even though we've seen these people, right? But like, I would like to see a movie like a Clayface movie. I would like to see a movie called Ra's, or just something like that, And it's like going through the life of Ra's al Ghul and raising Talia and Nissa, and there's Brucey boy, hey, and it's just like I don't know, just something. I don't know, something like that. And then with Hush, oh my God, you can go in so many different horror directions. With Hush, that'd be crazy. Like we've seen them animated, fine. We've seen Ra's and or Raish, however you say it. I guess people say it all sorts of ways. We've seen him in
everything line.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like in the New 52 movies, they said Ra's, and sometimes they said Raish. So here we are. But like with Liam Neeson in the Christopher Nolan movies, we got that. So I mean, I would look forward to I would love to see a horror movie with Ra's al Ghul. That would be the Demon's Head, League of Assassins. Like that would be some gory stuff when you think about it. Or what every fan of Gothamites would love to see, which we still haven't gotten yet, the Court of Owls.
Court of
Bring
Owls.
in the Court of Owls as a horror film. I promise you, DC, you would be eating for a long time. I mean, like,
that would be dope. I have
oh,
a feeling the Court of Owls will be the main villains for the Batman universe, because it seems like they're setting them up, just talking about like corrupt elites running Gotham, and it's kind of like the real world, but unfortunately, but
yeah, yikes.
but I totally agree. The Court of Owls, like a horror movie with the Court of Owls, like a very cult like type of film. I'm kind of picturing like Hereditary vibes, or with that cult, like that would be dope.
Yeah, man, Hereditary. Oh man, wow, that would be cool. Yeah, the Court of Owls is going to be like my top one that I'd like to see as a horror film for Batman villains. Yeah.
I think Professor Pig would be really good too. You just want an
oh,
old school slasher, serial killer
yeah.
type of thing, especially
Yeah.
with all the dolls.
Yeah, the
makes.
dolls and like putting their faces on, and then like I don't know if you played the Arkham games, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so in Arkham Knight, there's like that mission where you have to find out where the opera music is playing from, and you find these various bodies that are like mutilated and they're hung up on stuff. That would be if they just took that, put it on. Oh my gosh, that'd be sick.
it'd
Yeah.
be sick.
Anyway, on that note, we're gonna move on to Invincible. Now, this has got to be one of my favorite franchises that has made its way to one of my favorite franchises within the past like 7 years, because it is just so beautiful. I anytime I talk about this, I just tell the story from when I first saw it. So I saw that it was out for like a year or two a while back, and I was like, okay, I'll get to that. That looks cool. Whatever. Finally got to it when the first season was already out, and I think the second season was about to come out in like 3 months. No, sorry, the second season was going to come out in like another year because of COVID. A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
So I watched the first episode, bro, and we got to the end of the first episode after Nolan just decimates everyone, and he's just there like, and then keels over. I literally sat there. This is when I still lived with Anthony and Haley, and I was just in my room by myself watching it, and I sat there and I was like, "What the hell was that?" And I couldn't believe what I watched. So I stopped watching, and then I looked up online like how to read the comics for free or whatever, and I ended up in the closer to the end buying some because I was like, well, I mean, I want to watch it. I mean, I want to read it, so I'm gonna read it. And then I ended up reading everything, read up every single thing. And then I went back and continued from episode 2. And it was just, I knew once that I had stopped it to go read, that's how I knew I loved it instantly from that moment.
Yeah.
And I have not slowed down since. Like this show just never ceases to amaze me. The haters can hate if they want, talk about the crappy animation, talk about Lee Pace not being a good Thrag. I don't care. I've been saying it from the jump. He was a great choice. And of course, after the last 2 episodes, everybody are like, we were wrong. It's so funny that you made that. It's so funny that you made that because I loved that you said that, because like people were just so crapping on this man being the voice of Thrag. And it's like, guys, we haven't seen anything yet. The man is just chilling. He's calculating. He's talking. Let's just chill. Let's just
royalty.
wait. Yeah, he's royalty. He's he carries himself a certain way, and then we get to episode 7, and we're like, holy shit!
Oh my god! Please get the hell out of there. He's killing everyone.
Yeah, like literally, like get the hell out of there. So, what are your thoughts on Invincible as a whole, but specifically this 4th season?
Well, like you, that like Invincible, this shot up on my like favorite superhero anything list. Honestly, like I like this series. Like I haven't read the comics yet because I don't want the series to get spoiled for me. but like I just immediately fell in love with it, and not even for like the superhero stuff, just like just the character work, the character development, the just just the characters, the family moments. Like I love like the realness of it and all the hidden messages and lessons within it. And I'm just like, oh, this is so amazing. And in season 4, like just every episode, like I was hooked. Like I've been going back and forth between season 4 of this and Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
And absolutely love both. But honestly, I was more excited about Invincible than I was Daredevil Born Again. Because like, man, this show just has me hostage. And like season 4 alone just had me by the heart. Like I feel for Mark this whole time. Like this boy is going through it. And you know, I in a weird way I feel for Nolan, because he's trying his best to make up for everything. And like a part of me is still like, no, we're not cool anymore.
Yeah.
You killed a lot of people, so go do your shenanigans out there. But like, you know, just his character development. Like I haven't seen character development from like a great villain to now kind of a hero like that's done this well since Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yep.
Like Zuko. Yep. Like I haven't seen character development like that since then. And what I like about it is he still has a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you know, he doesn't immediately like, okay, I'm a good guy now and completely flawless. Like, no, like in the season finale, he's like demanding from Debbie or Cecil, like, hey, I changed. I'm a good guy. You have to forgive me now. And it's like, no, dude, that's not how it works.
Yeah, no.
That's not how it works. And I like that because it's realistic, because there are people that do that. Like, no, can't you see I'm doing better? I'm like, well, it's not up to you to determine whether I forgive you or not. Like just things like that are so real, and it gets me into it. And, you know, with Thrag, like, I'll admit, I was like halfway not impressed by him, but then the other half I'm like, something's off. This dude is too chill. Like the main like alarm bell that's going off is like how Conquest was talking to him. Like Conquest was shook by Thrag, and I'm like, but he's so calmly voiced and regal. Like, no, I don't reward failure. And I'm like, well, you're afraid of him. He might be a bad mofo, but he's not. And like I knew he was gonna be the strongest of the Viltrumites, but I still thought like, okay, well, you know, he's gonna be a bit stronger. They're gonna have a bit more rough time fighting him, but it will be fine. But they made him a damn anime villain, like from Dragon Ball Z. I was like, oh my gosh, he just Ultra Instinct Nolan's punch and then just punched him in and out of orbit.
Dude,
like, I was
that is
horrified.
Insane. Yeah, dude. In the comics, like when I read that, I was just like, okay, so what you're saying here is that he is quite literally unstoppable.
Yeah,
that's basically what it was.
I heard from someone that they said that he seems to be more powerful in the series than he is in the comics. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna do more of a deep dive in the video that I'm gonna do, which that might be a long video, but I'm gonna try and compress it. Yeah, in the comics, don't get me wrong, he is still vicious and ruthless, and he seems like the biggest bad in the comics that you can imagine, because he is. But in this animated series, they kind of, the way how they animated things and the way how they went in directions of storytelling and stuff, like episode 4, I believe, with Damien Darkblood, like that wasn't in the comic. That was like, all of it's an original story, but that was more of a true like original story to put in and flow with the comics that was more recent. And I loved how they did that. So the way how they did things with Thrag in this was a little bit different, because they made him quite a bit more ruthless. And I mean, good Lord, the way what he does. I mean, I don't want to. I was just about to say something, but I'm gonna just keep that under lock and key. If you already knew, then I would talk about it right now. But it's just what he does to some other people like later on, and how he does it and what happened. It's just like people have no idea what he is about to do. Like what you thought that this was bad, which it is. It is. He is just a monster amongst monsters. Like monsters are scared of him. Like monsters have nightmares about Thrag. That's what
That
the
mustache and that
stipulation.
hairline.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that
don't want to
hairline
see
and,
it.
and the wavy fade.
uh,
And then Anissa, I mean, oh, Lord have mercy. That I there's something that happens. I don't know if you know about this. I'm pretty
I,
sure you do.
I do know about this.
Okay, okay, so you do. I am curious if they're going to bring that in just because of how society is, and but I feel like they should because it is a very big turning point for Mark, and it is a very driving force for Mark in certain things, and it is it's terrible. Like it is absolutely terrible. Like people make jokes about it, and I'm one of those few people that are like, yeah, I'm sorry, I won't even joke about that because that's like
That's
when
so
I read that,
scary.
I legitimately cried reading it because the way how Mark describes it and what happens, and it's like you would think, oh wow, that must be nice. It's like no, it's not. I mean,
No, it's
it's
not.
against your will, and people are like, oh well, he got aroused. It's like yeah, but like in instances like that,
That's
it's like a trauma response, or I can't remember what somebody said. Somebody said it perfectly. I have to look it up, but it's like a mental thing. Like it's like a, oh shit. Like sometimes you can't even just control your body, and it's sad to say that, but it is true. And we won't deep dive into it. I'll probably deep dive into that, but I don't even know if I want to. But yeah, man, it's a tough thing that I think knowing the way how they've done things so far, I definitely think that they're going to do it. And they are going to make sure that it hits home. And they're going to make sure that it like really,
yeah.
really gets the point across. And I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm hoping it's done well, as
I,
well as it can be.
I'm 50-50 on it just because we're so used to seeing stuff like that in television and film, but mainly towards women.
Exactly.
And and I feel like most of the time it's scenes like that are only put in just for like, oh, we're gonna just to emphasize how evil this person is, they're gonna do this, and it's nothing more than that. And so like half of me is like, don't do that in the series because that's kind of what it feels like. But also the other half of me, and based on how they were handling things in the series from the start, like in such a beautifully written way, like there's always intention behind it. So I feel like if they do put it in this series, and it's towards Mark, it's not going to be just for the sake of it. Like there's going to be that intention, like, hey, this is a thing that also happens to men. It's just as serious, and this is why. And you get more, you create more empathy out of it. Like this is what it feels like. Like notice how, like, when a woman goes through this, the same thing will happen to a man. Like there's I feel like they'll handle it in a not a classy way, but in a meaningful way that isn't just for shock value.
Yeah.
It's not just for wouldn't this be done? No, it won't be for that. It'll be like, no, there's intention behind it, just like how they do all other relationships in this series.
Agreed. Fully agreed. And on that note, folks, I believe that we are out of time here. And Alex, is there anything that you would like to touch on before we send these kind folks on their way?
Yes. So just a heads up, I am working on, someone requested I do a Grand Region Thrag versus Superman video. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking for
And
that.
in the month of June, as we know, is Pride Month. I'm going to attempt a YouTube challenge called the Superhero Pride Month. So I'm going to attempt it every day. Y'all can hold me accountable. Every day I will post a video talking about a different LGBTQ superhero, just to bring awareness and like how awesome all these different characters are. They come in all different shapes and sizes. So keep an eye out for that.
Oh yeah, man. I'll be looking forward to that because that'll be a really cool thing to see, especially you do because you're really good at doing stuff like that. So definitely be on the lookout for that for him and any and all videos that he does. I'm looking forward to his Drag vs Superman video because wow, yeah, that's gonna be gold. And we will definitely talk more about Invincible on on these streams because we both love Invincible. Exhibit A, and it's just such a great series, beautifully written, well animated, well voice acted, and I'm looking forward to Clayface and any and everything the DCU has to offer. So, guys, please definitely go to Alex's channel. You can let him know I sent you. You cannot. I do not care. Just make sure you go support that man. He's got great content, and we will definitely see you in the next video that we have together.
Bye, everyone. Good seeing you.
Have a good one, guys. And thanks again for watching. And hey, be true